Evening, South Carolina Weather Watchers. I am the host for South Carolina Weather, Jesse Peterson, and let's go ahead and start off with the weather for your Tuesday evening. Now, going on ahead and looking at South Carolina for right now, it's obviously looking pretty good, except for a little part up here for Walhalla going up there towards Greenville. We have some showers that are trying to move eastward towards Greenville. Now that line is finally starting to push and finally starting to bring those showers and potentially strong thunderstorms as well later. So we are waiting for that to get through. That will arrive. Well, it's already arriving now, but mainly the line is right here. These are just some extra showers that are in front of the line. And this will leave the coast obviously around late morning to early afternoon tomorrow. Now, going on ahead and looking at the entire United States, if we go on ahead and change to the MRMS, the reflectivity right now is looking pretty interesting. You have snow on the backside up here inside of Wisconsin. You have ice in Michigan. You have severe weather going all the way down from Ohio down to Louisiana, Florida, Mississippi, Alabama. And then we have rain over here with this flood watch going through Washington. We also do have showers up here as well. Maybe even bring some ice as well to New York, pretty much. We do have some showers, kind of like in this little back area, Missouri, Iowa, and Minnesota. And then we also do have some showers up here for Washington. Everybody else is looking pretty clear and having nice conditions right now. Going on ahead and moving on, talking about cloud cover for today. Cloud cover right now is obviously looking pretty scattered, especially with that storm system moving in as we speak. So we're just going to have to wait and see what that cloud cover does by the time we get to tomorrow. But as of right now, everything looks pretty scattered in nature. Current temperatures right now going from 71 Columbia, 71 in Bennettsville, 66 Myrtle Beach, 68 Charleston, 68 Savannah, 73 Augusta, 70 in Anderson, 68 in Greenville, and 70 in Rock Hill. So those are just some of our temperatures. If you want to see another temperature spot, you can go on ahead and check it out now. Minimum temperatures for tonight can get to around 62 in Anderson, 63 in Greenville, Spartanburg, 69 in Columbia and Sumter, 67 in Florence, 66 in Myrtle Beach, 66 in Charleston, 68 inside of Savannah, 67 in Augusta. Here's our 24-hour max wind gust. Max wind gust could actually get to around 30 to 40 miles an hour throughout most of South Carolina. Definitely a minimum of around 25 to 30 miles an hour with maximum gust around 40 throughout most of the state, especially if you're there in the Midlands, just west of Columbia. I think that's where we can definitely get our highest gust at. A lowest gust can go all the way down into like Savannah, where they can get like 29 as a minimum, or sorry, as a maximum. 34 though for Columbia, 37 for Sumter, 30 for Florence, 38 for Myrtle Beach, 34 for Charleston, and then 34 for up there in Greenville, Spartanburg. Max precipitation, this is where things start to get a bit interesting, because as you can see, around half an inch could potentially fall from Augusta down to Charleston and Savannah, while around 4/10 of an inch can reach Columbia, Sumter, Florence, and Myrtle Beach, and around an inch or so possible up there inside the upstate. So we're going to have to watch for those precipitation. Now tomorrow, I do think that we will have a higher, kind of like a higher chance to see those precipitation totals really start to build up towards the coast, because, getting closer and closer to the event. And 24 hours out from now, that's not going to be enough to tell the full story of how much rain is going to actually fall. So this will be adjusted, but we'll see what happens. Going on ahead and switching over to the models, because I do want to show that for the potential severe weather. We will actually, I just want to see what time the rain gets here and what time it's going to really impact us. So if you're going ahead and push it forward, you can obviously see that rain start to really push in around 1 a.m. And then those storms start to push in 3 a.m., going on to 5 a.m. I mean, you just have a straight lines of storms going through Augusta. Camden's getting some isolated cell action. Same thing with up here near Union and Lancaster. And then as it finally starts to move off towards Myrtle Beach, Conway, Loris, Allendale around 8 a.m. And then you got kind of like this slow moving line that finally moves off of South Carolina by the time we get to around 4 to 5 p.m. That's when we'll stop seeing those showers. I do want to go over and see the composite reflectivity just to see what that one shows as well. So if you go ahead and back it up all the way to 4 hours out from now, you can finally see the precipitation pushing in 2 a.m. And then you see all the heavy precipitation pushing in 4, 5 a.m. And then we get like some isolated cell action, some isolated thunderstorm action, which will prompt the threat for those isolated tornadoes, which we'll talk about later. We also have these storms that are also popping up near Walterboro, Savannah, Beaufort, Charleston. That will be around 10 a.m. tomorrow. And I think that this will definitely bring thunderstorm action all the way from the upstate all the way down to the coast. So I think everyone needs to be alert for these storms all the way from 1 a.m. all the way through to 1 p.m. Everyone needs to be watching out for these storms. Now, time frames wise, it'll probably be out of the upstate around 6 a.m. going to around 7 a.m. The Midlands, it will leave you all at around 10 a.m., 9 a.m. And then finally, it will leave the coast, obviously, at around 3 to 4 p.m. And the next thing I do want to talk about actually is, well, the SPC outlook, because there is a slight risk of severe thunderstorms for tonight. Obviously, this does come with a 5% risk of a tornado. That might not seem like much, but that's a lot more than you might think. As you can see, as of now, it's only a 5%. I don't really see the chance for a 10% really to stretch all the way inside of South Carolina, but a 5% is in place. Hail-wise, around a 15% risk is not quite in South Carolina, but a 5% risk is. So we still got to watch out for hail, even though hail seems like the minimum threat for now. And we also do have a 15% chance of damaging winds as well. That goes from Columbia all the way up through the upstate. Luckily, not the worst, because as you can see, there's an enhanced risk right to our west. Luckily, we're not introduced to that, and it's not going to get as bad as it will like Atlanta. Like Atlanta, they're under a 10% hatch risk of tornadoes. That means they have a 10% risk of seeing a tornado, and then they have that hatch risk, meaning that there is a 10% chance that tornado could be EF2 or stronger. So they have to watch out for that over there in Atlanta. Tomorrow, though, is another day that I really want to watch for. It covers almost the entire state of Florida, coastal Georgia, going through most of South Carolina, and pretty much most of North Carolina as well. This does come with another 2 to 5% chance of a tornado. That 2% chance really goes through mainly most of the coastline, and then that 5% chance really starts to take shape up here, Myrtle Beach, Conway, Loris, all the way up here, all the way up through North Carolina. So the highest tornado potential is up there in Myrtle Beach, up there near Myrtle Beach. So if you're in the Myrtle Beach area, you have the highest chance of seeing a tornado tomorrow. If you go to the hail risk, hail is actually more dominant tomorrow, as we have a 15% risk for seeing hail tomorrow. That's not really as much as we would see tonight, but still something that we're gonna have to watch out for tomorrow. So 15% chance of damaging hail, and then the wind threat is our biggest threat with the 15% risk that actually expands, pretty much almost cutting off the 5%. That's just how big the 15% risk is. And going into day 3, nothing for day 3. So again, here's day 1. The upstate going all the way down towards Columbia. Watch out for those severe storms going into tonight. And then as we get into tomorrow morning, late afternoon, late morning, early afternoon, we will start to see those storms really start to pick up the pace and move all the way out to the coast. So that's all I have to say for severe weather. It's possible tomorrow. You got to watch out for it because it could surprise you. And here's excessive rainfall. The only thing that I do have to talk about is that if we go ahead and switch over to the southeast, there is a little 5% risk for South Carolina. Not much. Just watch out for some minor flooding in low-lying areas. And that's going to be about it for the current forecast. Let's go ahead and talk about the future. So I'm going to go on ahead and switch over to the GFS model. And this is the last thing that we do, as always. So we're going to go ahead and switch over to the precipitation type. We're going to turn that on. And I'm going to go ahead and turn off the warnings and advisories so we don't have that in our way. But looking at it right now, as you can see, that storm system, that's going to go off and it's going to push out. We're going to start to see some snow, maybe some heavy snow at times in places like Chicago, Wisconsin, New York. Freezing rain up here inside of, again, New York, Boston, Vermont, New Hampshire. And then this low pressure is still here, still trying to bring snow to Ohio, Indiana, Kentucky, Virginia, and maybe even the Appalachian Mountains close to South Carolina. I don't think it will quite bring it to South Carolina, but I do think that for sure the Appalachian Mountains of North Carolina can definitely get that snow. To the west, you can see this whole system right here that's going to try and move eastward. They're going to bring some heavy shield of rain going from Louisiana, Arkansas, Missouri, Iowa, Illinois, Indiana, and then potentially the chance, I think, for severe weather for some areas as well. Right now, I think it is too far to tell, but as you can see, heavy rain will continue, and that will pretty much bring all of South Carolina rain on April the 11th, going through the 12th, and then we have a second round come through later on April the 11th, and then the third round on April the 12th. So we could get a consecutive 1, 2, 3 punch on April the 10th night, and then April the 11th, like in the morning, and then April the 12th in the morning as well. Everything else is around 300 hours out, so it's around too far to talk about exactly or specifics. But we also do have this system right here that's going to maybe try to bring some more severe weather on April the 17th. But obviously the next thing that we're watching is this system to come through tonight and tomorrow. Definitely watch out for potential tornadoes, hail, and damaging winds. I don't think I will go live. If things do hit the fan though, and I'm up early enough, I may do a little live update. Or maybe an emergency update just to see what's going on. But obviously, I will make a video in the morning as well with my morning forecast, so I may make that one, and then maybe a video on the side talking about what's going on if things are really going badly. And I'll probably leave the radar up too tomorrow. But that's going to be about it. Make sure that you show up to the streams at 9 tonight. It was a bit later because I was out, so we did not do the live at 9 p.m. like we were supposed to. But that's going to be about it. So for the people that are on the video form, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will be back tomorrow morning with another forecast update.